Welcome to all. My name is Dr. K. Sujata, Assistant Professor of Mathematics, Government Degree College, Kukatpalli. Today I am going to discuss about subspaces and spanning sets. These are the subcontents of the subspaces and spanning sets. What is the definition of a subspace of a vector space? Let V be a vector space and W is a non-empty subset of V, then W itself is a vector space. Then we say that W is called as a subspace of a vector space. See here, V plus dot is a vector space. W is a non-empty set. W is a subset of V. And W is a non-empty subset of W is called a subspace of V. W itself is a vector space under the same operations of the vector space, that is vector addition and scalar multiplication. Then we say that W is called as a subspace of a vector space. It is very important definition. If W is a subset of V, then W is itself is a vector space with respect to the same operations of V, that is vector addition and scalar multiplication. Then W is called as a subspace of V. Trivial subspace. Every vector space has at least two subspaces. One is zero vector space. Zero vector space means it contains only zero vector. It is always forms a subspace of V because of it satisfies all the 10 axioms. Then we say that the zero vector space is a subspace of V. And V itself is a subspace of V. That's why every vector space has at least two subspaces. This is very important. You note down this one. Every vector space V has at least two subspaces. One is zero vector space and another one is itself is a subspace of V. These two subspaces are called trivial subspaces of a vector space V. Other than trivial subspaces are called as a proper subspaces or non-trivial subspaces. So every vector space has at least two subspaces. The two subspaces are called as a trivial subspaces. Other than trivial subspaces, they are called as a proper subspaces. Other name is non-trivial subspaces. Now we discuss about the examples regarding to subspace of a vector space. The set of first quadrant vectors is not a subspace of R square. Take the one example, show that W is equal to x1, x2, where these two components x1 is greater than 0 and x2 is also greater than 0. This is the definition of the W set. With the standard operations, it is not a subspace of R square. That is, we have to show that it is not a subspace of R square. Subspace means it satisfies two properties mainly. W is closed under vector addition. W is closed under scalar multiplication. Any non-empty subset satisfies these two conditions. Then we say that W is called as a subspace of a vector space. Now we have to see that this is not a subspace of R square. For that we have to see here the solution is there. Let U is equal to 1, 1 belongs to W. See the components 1. First component is 1. 1 is always greater than 0. The second component is 1. This is also greater than 0. Now I take the scalar Scalar multiplication means any scalar multiplied by the vector. That's why I take the scalar here -1 and vector is u already defined in the W. Therefore, now take the product -1 into u, that is equal to -1 into 1 comma 1. Multiply the each one -1 -1. What is the definition of W? Where the components x1, x2 are greater than or equal to 0. But here getting -1 -1. That's why these are not the components of W. That's why this vector does not belongs to W. That means here the scalar multiplication is fails. That means W is not closed under scalar multiplication. Then we say that W is not a subspace of R square. This is the one of the important example how to prove the any subspace is given, any subset is given, how to prove it forms a subspace of R square. This is the way. What is the first one is W is closed under vector addition and W is closed under scalar multiplication. Now identify the subspaces of R square. What are the subspaces of R square? Which are we define two subsets that are subspaces of R square or not, we have to see here. Which of the following two subsets is a subspace of R square? First one is the set of all points on the line given by x plus 2y equal to 0. The second subset is given the set of points on the line given by x plus 2y equal to 1. Now go to the first one, proof. W is equal to, the subset is defined like this, the set of all points on the line given by x plus 2y equal to 0. That's why we define W is a set of vectors in the form of x comma y, because of these are the subsets of R square. That's why it is having two components x comma y, such that x plus 2y equal to 0. Because of y equal to t, what is x? X equal to minus 2t. Any vector of the form W can be written as minus 2t comma 2e, where t belongs to R. Here see, this x plus 2y equal to 0 is a line always passing through the origin. That means here the 0 vector is lies on this line. The 0 vector is lies on this line. Now we have to, this subset is a subspace of R square. Take the any two vectors, v1 equal to minus 2t1 comma t1 belongs to W. v2 is equal to minus t2 comma t2 belongs to W. Add v1 plus v2, that is equal to minus 2 into t1 plus t2 comma t1 plus t2. Here we say that W is closed under vector addition. In the same way, we can define the scalar multiplication. C into V1 is equal to minus 2 into CT1 comma CT1. That means W is also closed under scalar multiplication. Any subset satisfies these two conditions, then we say that it is a subspace of R square. That's why first example, W is a subspace of R square. Coming to the second subset, W is equal to x comma y such that x plus 2y equal to 1. See here, this is a line not passing through the origin. That's why the 0 vector 0 comma 0 is not lie on this line. Now consider any vector satisfies this equation. See, I take the components of V vector having 1 comma 0. See, you have to put 1 plus 2 into 0. That's why here getting 1. That's why V vector satisfies the above condition, x plus 2y equal to 1. Now I define the scalar multiplication. Minus 1 into V, that is equal to minus 1 comma 0. Here this vector not satisfy the this above condition, x plus 2y equal to 1. That's why this vector does not belongs to W. That means W is not a subspace of R square. In these two examples, first example, W is a subspace of R square. In the second example, W is not a subspace of R square because of here the zero vector does not exist in the second set of points on the line given by x plus 2y equal to 1. That's why this is not a forms a subspace of a R square. These are the two important examples you have to remember. Now, subspaces of R square can be represented in the form of geometry. Already you know that true trivial subspaces are always it contains. So W consists of the single point, but that means zero vector, that is a trivial subspace of R square. W consists of all the points lying and passing through the origin. This also forms a subspace of R square. Thus, vector space R square itself is a subspace of R square, that is called as a trivial subspace. First subspace can be represented like this. Therefore, see in this, the W is equal to 0, 0. This only represents, this is the x-axis and the y-axis. The point 0 point can be represented as here. This is the 0 vector. Coming to the second one, the set of all points of a line passing through the origin. So any line passing through the origin represented like this. Therefore, this all set of points line passing through the origin is called also forms a subspace of R square. R square itself is a subspace of R square. Like this you have to represent in this figure. So these are the important subspaces of R square. Any problem is given subspace and we have to prove that like this. Two subspaces compulsory any vector space contain. Other than that one is called as a non-trivial subspace or proper subspace of a vector space. Compulsory the line of the points passing through the origin. Then only it forms a subspace of R square. Now go to another example. Identify the subspaces of R cube. By defining the two subsets of R cube, first one is W is equal to x1, x2, 1 such that x1, x2 belongs to R. The second example taken as a W is equal to x1, x1 plus x3, x3, x1, x3 belongs to R. Now we have to show that these two, whether they are forms a subspace of R cube or not, we have to verify now. See in the first example, the zero vector is not in W. Why? Because x1, x2, 1. So the third component is 1. We can't replace any 1 by 0. That's why here the zero vector is not in W. In the second example, we can easily see that x1, x1 plus x3, x3. In this zero vector is exists because of these are the real numbers. Therefore, 0 plus 0, 0 plus 0 again 0. Here is a 0. That's why the zero vector exists in the W. Now we have to show that these two sets are subspaces of R cube or not. We have to verify now. Take the first example. W is equal to x1, x2, 1. Already I told that zero vector is not in W. See, consider the another one more vector in W by using this definition. X1, X2 are the real numbers. The third component must be 1. So now I define like this. V is equal to real numbers taken. First one X1 comma X2 is 0 comma 0 comma third component is 1 belongs to W. Scalar multiplication. Minus 1 is taken as a scalar into that vector V. Therefore, it combines it. What is the multiplication we get? Minus 1 into 0, 0. Minus 1 into 0, 0. Minus 1 into 1 is minus 1. See here, 0, 0, minus 1. Here the definition of the subset W is x1 comma x2 comma 1 are the vectors of the form of W. Therefore here see 0, 0, minus 1. The third component is minus 1, but in the definition we have 1 positive 1. That's why this scalar product does not belongs to W. That's why W is not a subspace of R-cube. We have to remember always to prove it is a subspace of any vector space. First condition is it is closed under vector addition. It is closed under scalar multiplication. Any one of the axiom is not satisfied by that subset, then we say that it is not a subspace of R-cube. See the geometrical representation of the first example. Origin does not lie on this plane. Origin does not lie on this plane because of origin here. Therefore, this plane does not lie on this plane. That's why W is not a subspace of R-cube. Go to another example, second example. This is the very, very important one. See this example, easily to understand this one. 0, 0, 1 minus 1 into V, we get this one. But it is not belongs to W. W is not a subspace of R-cube. Second example. What is the second example? What is the subset? X1, X1 plus X3, comma X3, where X1, X3 belongs to R. To prove that this one is a subspace of R-cube, consider the two vectors of the form x1, x1 plus x3, comma x3. So that's why you have to take in here V vector is v1, v1 plus v3, v3. It is belongs to W. U is equal to u1, u1 plus u3, comma u3. It is also belongs to W. Now define the vector addition. We have to add these two vectors v plus u. V plus u is equal to, first add the first components v1 plus u1. Add the second components v1 plus v3, u1 plus u3. We have to add this like this. The third component is v3 plus u3. This is also in the form of the subset of W. That's why it belongs to W. So W is closed under vector addition. Now we define the scalar multiplication. So now the vector multiply with the scalar. C into V is equal to CV1, CV1 plus CV3, CV3. It is also in the form of W vectors. That's why it belongs to W. See here, W is closed under vector addition. W is closed under scalar multiplication. Already 0 vector is also exists in the W. Therefore, W is a subspace of R-cube. See, this example can be represented in the geometrical view. See here, this is the plane formed by that subset. Therefore, here the plane passing through the origin 0, 0, 0. Therefore, this is V1, this is V3, this is V1 plus V3. This is the way to represent the second example in a geometrical representation. It always passes through the origin and also it satisfies the vector addition and scalar multiplication. Then we say that W is a subspace of R cube. This is a very, very important example. You have to understand. Note that what are the subspaces of R cube? Gentle reminder, we have to remember these subspaces of R cube. Zero vector always forms a subspace of R cube, that is 0, 0, 0. This is called, as already I told, trivial subspace. W consists of all points on a line passing through the origin. This is the one more important one. W consists of all points on a line passing through the origin. And one more subspaces of R cube is W consists of all points on a plane passing through the origin. In the previous example, you know, the second example, the plane passing through the origin, that's why it forms a subspace of R cube. And R cube itself is a subspace of R cube. So how many sets forms a R cube, subspaces of R cube? W contains zero vector forms a subspace of R cube. W consists of all points all points lie on a line passing through the origin. Third one is W consists of all the points on a plane passing through the origin. And the vector space itself is a R cube itself is a subspace. These are the important remember, we have to remember the points regarding subspaces of R cube. So here you have to remember this point. W is a subspace of a vector space V. Then both W and V must contain the same zero vector. So you have to doing the examples, you have to remember zero vector is exist or not. First verify that one. Then we have to next you have to go for the W is closed under vector addition, W is closed under scalar multiplication. This is the hint for the to prove that anyway subset is given to form a subspace of a vector space. Compulsory the subset W contains the zero vector, then only it forms a subspace of V. Now theorem. The intersection of two subspaces is a subspace. Let V and W are the two subspaces of a vector space U. Then the intersection of V and W is also a subspace of U. Take the proof. That means any two subspace, the intersection of two subspace is also a subspace of U. So here taken V and W are the subspaces of a vector space U. Then the intersection of V and W is also a subspace of U. How to prove this one? Now going to the proof. For V1, V2, two vectors taken in the intersection of V and W. Since V1, V2 are belongs to V intersection W, that means V1, V2 belongs to V and V1, V2 are also in W. So here see V1, V2 are in V and W also. Therefore, because of already given that V and W are the subspaces of a vector space. Subspace means the subspace always satisfies two conditions. One is W is closed under vector addition and W is closed under scalar multiplication. That's why V1, V2 are in V. V already, it is a subspace of a vector space U. Therefore, V1 plus V2 is also in V. In the same way, V1, V2 are in W. W is also a subspace of U. Therefore, V1 plus V2 is also in W. That's why V1 plus V2 belongs to V and V1 plus V2 belongs to W, then therefore by the intersection property, V1 plus V2 is in V intersection W. For coming to the second point, what is that one? Scalar multiplication. For V1 is V intersection W, then V1 is belongs to V and V1 is also belongs to W. So since already given that V and W are the subspaces of a vector space U, therefore by the definition of the subspace of a vector space, C into V1 is in V and also C into V1 is also in W. That means this product will be belongs to both V and W. Then we say that C into V is in V intersection W. See here, V1 plus V2 belongs to V intersection W. That means V intersection W is a closure under vector addition. Here the second one, C into V1 is in V intersection W. That means V intersection W is closed under scalar multiplication. Consequently, we conclude that the intersection of V intersection W is also a subspace of U. This is one of the important theorem you have to remember. However, the union of two subspaces is not a subspace of a vector space. One more theorem is there. The union of two subspace is a subspace of V if and only if one is contained in the other. This is the one more theorem we have to see in the textbook. That also important one. Though need not be the union of two subspaces, need not be a subspace of vector space. But the union of two subspaces is a subspace of a vector space, then if and only if one is contained in the other. Now coming to the spanning set. It is very, very important one, spanning set. So the spanning set is always associated with the representation of any vector in a vector space. So therefore that can be represented as a linear combination of the selected set of vectors in that vector space. Therefore the spanning set is always associated with the linear combination of a selected set of vectors in that vector space. But first we define the what is linear combination. A vector U in a vector space V is called a linear combination of the vectors V1, V2, so on Vk is in V if U can be written in the form of U is equal to C1 V1 plus C2 V2 plus so on Ck Vk, where C1, C2 or Ck are the scalars, then this is called as a linear combination of the vector. Any vector can be expressed as a linear combination of the vectors of the in the vector space. Then we say that it is called as a linear combination. See, again I will tell you, a vector U in a vector space V is called a linear combination of the vectors V1, V2, Vk. Linear combination always combined with the scalars. That's why any vector U can be written in the form of C1 V1 plus C2 V2 plus so on Ck Vk. So this is called as a linear combination of the set of vectors. The spanning set is always associated with the representation of any vector in the vector space, depends on the linear combination. Linear combination in R to the power of n. The vector x is called a linear combination of v1, v2, so on vn, that can be expressed in the form of, because R to the power of n means it contains the n tuples, therefore n vectors. Therefore x equal to c1 v1 plus c2 v2 plus so on cn vn, where c1, c2, so on cn are real numbers. This is the definition of the linear combination. Now going to the example. Given x equal to -1 comma -2 comma -2 u v w are defined in R cube. Find a comma b comma c such that the linear combination can be expressed like this: x equal to a into u bar plus b into v plus c into w. Here you have to remember the bold letters U, V, W always represented as vectors. The scalars A, B, C are the normal scalars. Write in the form of linear combination. That means x equal to, what is x here? -1 comma -2 comma -2. Put here left side of the x equal to a into u. That means 0, a, 4a. B into v minus b, b, 2b, and c into w, 3c, c, 2c. So write in the form of this one: x equal to a into u plus b into v plus c into w. Compare the both sides coefficients, then we get these three equations: minus b plus 3c equal to -1, a plus b plus c equal to -2, 4a plus 2b plus 2c equal to -2. So solving these three equations, we can get the a is equal to 1, b equal to -2, c equal to -1. How to solve these three equations? From second and third, eliminate a. Then we get the equation in the form of b and c, the resultant equation and first equation to solve. Then we get b and c, simultaneously get the values. B and c substitute in the any one of 2 and 3 equations, then we get the a value. So simple procedure, already you know that how to solve the, how to find the ABC values with three equations given, three variables are there. So you know already in lower classes. Therefore a equal to 1, b equal to -2, c equal to -1. Therefore the vector x can be written as a is 1, 1 into u, b is -2, -2 into v, c is -1, -1 into w. So that's why x equal to u minus 2v minus w. Therefore, this is called as a linear combination of the vectors in R cube. Any vector can be written as a linear combination of the vectors in the vector space. One more example I will take. Finding the linear combination of the given vectors. V1 is given 1, 2, 3. V2 is given 0, 1, 2. V3 is given -1, comma 0, comma 1. Here W, first bit is W is equal to 1, 1, 1 is a linear combination of V1, V2, V3. Second bit is W is equal to 1 minus 2, 2 is not a linear combination of V1, V2, V3. Sometimes any vector cannot be expressed as a linear combination of V1, V2, V3. That's why here given that one also. Take the first example. What is W is given 1, 1, 1. Right here 1, 1, 1 in place of W. C1 is a constant. We have to take a linear combination. V1 is 1, 2, 3 plus C2 into V2 is 0, 1, 2 plus C3 into -1, 0, 1. Right, multiply these three vectors by C1, C2, C3 and add. So we can get C1 minus C3, 2C1 plus C2, 3C1 plus 2C2 plus C3. Comparing with the left side of 1, 1, 1, we get three equations. It is the form C1 minus C3 equal to 1, 2C1 plus C2 equal to 1, 3C1 plus 2C2 plus C3 equal to 1. By reducing the equations, then we get the C1, C2, C3. Regularly we can reduce also, you can easily, first we have to eliminate the one variable, then find out the two variables, then two variables can be substituted in one of the equation, then we get the other two variable or third variable also. Or we can use the Gauss echelon form, matrix echelon form, that is called as a Gauss-Jordan echelon form. Right in the this equation can be, this is the matrix linear equations can be written in the form of matrix form 1 0 minus 1 2 1 0 3 2 1. This is the 1 1 1. By matrix elementary operations, it can be reduced to echelon form. We can get this one. First, keep it the first row first element as 1. By using the first row first element, the first row we have to use to eliminate to reduce second row first element, and third row first element will be 0, like this 1 0 0. By using the row operations, then we get this matrix. Already you know that this method in the matrices. Here 1 0 minus 1 1 0 1 2 minus 1 0 0 0. See here, right in the form of equation form, C1 equal to minus 1 1 plus t, C2 equal to minus 1 minus 2t, C3 equal to t. By reducing this equation, we get these values coming to the C1, C2, C3, because of it has having infinitely many solutions. Because of the last row is zeros, all zeros, then this matrix equation having infinitely many solutions. This system has infinitely many solutions. That's why here put C1, C2, C3, put t equal to 1. Further, this constant we can get, that can be expressed as 2v1 minus 3v2 plus v3. If put t equal to 2, we can get the another linear combination. If t is equal to 3, we can get another linear combination. This way, we can get infinitely many solutions. So this is very, very important. So write the whatever the equation system of equation that can be represented in the form of matrix equation. That matrix equation, by using the row elementary operations, reduced to echelon form. Therefore, the last row is zeros. Then it has infinitely many solutions. Putting the values of t, then we get the many number of solutions. That's why it is the number of ways of linear combinations. Going to the second example, see here, CV1 plus C2V2 plus C3V3. By arranging the equations, we can write it in the form of matrix form, and reducing into echelon form, we can get this one. See here, 1 0 minus 1 1 0 1 2 minus 4 0 0 7. See here, the last row, C1 into 0, 0 into C2 plus 0 into C3 equal to 7. That means any equation like this, left side totally 0, but right side value is coming 7. That means that form of echelon form having, that system having no solution, because of this equation cannot be satisfied by the any values. Therefore, the system has no solution, since the third row means like this. Therefore, you have to remember first value, first to last row having 3 zeros, and last value having 7. This means like this, 0 into C1 plus 0 into C2 plus 0 into C3, that is equal to 7. Therefore, W cannot be expressed as linear combination of the vectors V1, V2, V3. This is a very, very important example you have to remember. The span of a set. What is the definition of a span of a set? Span of a set can be represented as span of S. S contains V1, V2, Vk vectors. It is a set of vectors in a vector space V. Then The span of S is the set of all linear combinations of the vectors in S. So this is the very important one. The span of S means is the set of all linear combinations of the vectors. The elements of span of S contains the linear combinations are the vectors in S. Therefore, that is called as a span of S. Span of S is equal to C1V1 plus C2V2 plus so on CKVK for every Ci belongs to R. That means we have to write it a many set of linear combinations exist in the span of S. That are the vectors of span of S. That are the elements of span of S. That set of all linear combinations of vectors in S is called as a span of S. It is denoted by span of bracket S. Very important one. The span of S is the set of all linear combinations of the vectors in S. This can be represented in the form of a equation form. Like this you have to represent in the set form. Now defining the spanning set of a vector space. If every vector in a given vector space V can be written as a linear combination of the vectors in a set S, then S is called as a spanning set of the vector space. If every vector in the given vector space can be written as a linear combinations of the vectors in a set S, then S is called as a spanning set of a vector space. This is the one more important definition. The above statement can be expressed as the following ways. Span of S is equal to V. It implies an implied S spans V. That means S generates V. And implies an implied V is spanned by S. In another way, we have to say that V is spanned by S. That means V is generated by S. And implies implied S is a spanning set of V. So span of S is equal to V means any vector of V can be expressed as a linear combination of the vectors of S in V. Then we say that it is called as a spanning set of V. This is the representations of the spanning set. Span of S is equal to V. S spans V, or V is spanned by S, or S is a spanning set of V. See here examples. The set S equal to 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 1. It spans R cube because of any vector of U, U1, U2, U3 can be expressed as U is equal to U1 into 1, 0, 0 plus U2 into 0, 1, 0 plus U3 equal to 0, 0, 1. This always spans R cube. Going to the another example, S equal to 1x square. It also spans P2 because of any polynomial function can be written as a plus bx plus cx square in P2. Then it can be written as p of x is equal to a into 1 plus b into x plus c into x square. These are the two examples of spanning set of V. Or S spans V, or V is spanned by S. In any way we can represent a span of S is equal to V. How to show that any set is S is given? It spans R cube. See here, a spanning set of R cube. Show that the set S is equal to 1, 2, 3, 0, 1, 2 minus 2, 0, 1 spans R cube. We must examine whether any vector U can be expressed as a linear combination of the vectors V1, V2, V3. It is expressed as a linear combination, then it is automatically spans of R cube. It cannot be expressed as a linear combination of the given three vectors, then it cannot be span of R cube. That's why first we have to examine any vector of S can be expressed as a linear combination of the vectors. Therefore, here U is equal to, write in the form of linear combination, write in the form of a system of equations. We reduce, determine the values of C1, C2, C3 by using that one. So in the matrices, we have two theorems are there. A is a invertible matrix. The system of linear equation Ax equal to B has a unique solution. By using that one, or any square matrix is invertible if and only that A not equal to 0. That's why you have to find the three vectors that is 1 0 minus 2, 2 1 0, 3 to 1. It is not equal to 0. Therefore, Ax is equal to U has exactly one solution. That means any vector of U can be expressed as a linear combination of the given vectors of S. That's why span of S is equal to R cube. Some note points you have to remember here. For any set S1 containing the set S, if S can span off R cube, and S1 can also span off R cube as well. Because of S1 can be written as V1, V2, V3, V4, that is 1, 2, 3, 0, 1, 2, minus 2, 0, 1. We have to add the another vector 1 0 0. Therefore, S1 is containing the set S, and S can also span off R cube. S1 can also span off R cube. This is very, very important. You have to remember. S1 can span is only of R cube, since V1, V2, V3 can span of R cube. V4 must be a linear combination of the V1, V2, V3. So adding V4 also will not generate more combinations. That's why as a consequence, V1, V2, V3 and V4 can only span of R cube. That we have to remember. Span of S is a subspace of V. How to prove this theorem? See, S is a contains V1, V2, V3 is a set of vectors in a vector space V. Then span of S is a subspace of V, and span of S is the smallest subspace of V that contains S. Every other subspace of V containing S must contain span of S. See here, span of S is the first, this circle. Next, second circle is any subspace containing S. The big circle is V, that is a vector space circle. Therefore, you have to remember this mode. V contains the smallest, span of S is the smallest subspace of V. Because of, see here, V is the bigger subspace. So span of S is the smallest subspace of V. That you have to remember. Now we have to prove that one. Consider any two vectors U and V in span of S. That is U is equal to V is equal to, then U plus V is equal to, that means vector addition is also belongs to span of S. Scalar multiplication is also belongs to span of S. That's why span of S is both, it is a closed under vector addition and scalar multiplication. That's why it is a, from this we say that span of S is a subspace of V. Here we have to prove that U be any other subspace of V that contains S. We want to show that span of S is subset of U. Consider any U belongs to span of S. U can be expressed as a linear combination of the vectors of S, and U contains S. Already U is a subspace of V. Therefore, U also can be written as a linear combination of the vectors of Yes, therefore, since any vector for U belongs to span of S, therefore U also belongs to U. That's why span of S is subset of V. That means span of S is the smallest subspace of V contains the S vectors. This is enough today.